Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our monthly partner forum call. I am Gary Schick, National Partner Manager, been with Quest for a very long time, 25 years. I am joined by my esteemed cohorts from the partner team and others. We've got Ryan Howard, one of our national channel managers, Brian Perdue, and Mr. Adam Berg, who is going to lead the bulk of the content for the call here. As I shared, this is interactive, so we welcome your participation. Please note that anything you say is being recorded and will be out on social media and the Quest website for time immemorial. So good questions only, but please feel free to ask anything. It is interactive. And for those of you who are here, we do have a digital gift card we will be sending afterward as a thank you for attending and to tell some friends if they'd like to join as well. Today, just real quick, I'm going to skim through some of the About Quest opportunities. For those of you who are new here, we'll skim through that. The services spotlight. This is, as Adam tickled a little bit earlier here, we get a lot of content at Quest. Kind of what are some of the new things that we're talking about in the channel. Definitely want to talk about the integrated services engagement strategies. When you're selecting your partners and who you work with, that's going to bring the value to the table. We're a little bit about how we're differentiating and we're seeing the value there. When you're considering different partners to bring in, Adam's going to touch that. Some of the cybersecurity engagement strategy. We have a lot of resources. We've got a calendar. We've got some Q&A and some wrap up. So we'll look forward to chatting with you on that. Company background, been around for a long time. Been around since 1982. Our go-to-market strategy is very, very simple. We ask our customers how we can help. And the list that you see down below here over the past 40 years being in business, these are not the only things that we do, but on the other side of businesses having different strategies and compliance and a lot of things, we're definitely in that area up there. On the other side is actually executing and rolling out the different aspects of their business to support their internal customers, their users, and a lot of it is comprised of the things you see here on the left. Technology products, we've been a reseller for a long time. These are all things that are in your portfolio. As customers kind of ask you about different things, the short hit is yes, you can. We're kind of a yes, you can supplier. We do get a lot of calls from all of our TSDs. If it's not just a straight transaction and it is more complex and some different ways they want to engage, these are things that we definitely can help with. From a managed service perspective, that's fine. Adam, one more. There we go. Yeah. All right. So we are
super happy.
Yeah, go. I know you're excited. This is good. This is my only. I'm only going to be here for a brief moment, Adam. You got to give me a minute. So Adam's heard this before, so I know you're trying to race after the new stuff. We are a global managed service provider. We own a couple 100,000 square feet of data center space in Sacramento, California, and Roseville. We run our primary network and security operations there. We have facilities over in Dublin, Ireland, Manila, Philippines. We also have hundreds of access points globally for our global edge compute for those customers who are looking at the public cloud services. Lots of ways to get into that, and there are actually lots of different pricing and deployment models that we can work with. That is one of the things that we are significantly involved in there. Co-location and whatnot there. Probably the biggest differentiator for Quest is in our what we call Quest Flex. Our flexibility really to deliver outcomes that the customer's wanting, how they want them, rather than coming to market and saying, you have to come to me, or you have to be on my platform, or here's how I can help. That has not been where we, found our big success. Those are great if you fit into those transactional models as a customer and can leverage those. Oftentimes, though, there are other things that maybe don't fit into that model. They can include professional services. They can include product, bundling those in, different pricing models, really some huge differentiators in, how customers CapEx, OpEx. We run on their equipment if they want to use leverage their platforms, their help desk things, their different components that they have. Happy to help manage and co-manage what they have. We certainly, as a service provider, have a lot of tools we have ourselves where people are like, I don't want to do that. Particularly in the uncertain times today, there's a lot of people leveraging service providers just because the platforms and the infrastructure and security and those things are kind of built in systemically into the services that a service provider can build. They don't have to hire those services or build those out internally. And we touch those different services there. So love to spend some more time chatting about any of these things right here. Any of the partner managers can help out on that. And Adam, you got it, brother. Take it away. I'm going to turn it over to you. Bring us home, my friend.
Awesome. Good deal, Gary. Thanks for the update and overview. So jumping into, like I was mentioning earlier, kind of before we kicked off the call, we really want to treat this as, our partner sales call, right? Feedback from you, sharing what we're seeing at Quest. And I was listening to a keynote this morning, and the idea of, hey, anyone can buy a steak dinner, anyone can kind of, do those types of things, but who's actually helping me build my business? The channel is realigning to working with solution providers and organizations that are going to help you build your organization and grow into different service areas. So Quest has been doing this a long time. We've built out what we call our core building block strategy, where we help with all sorts of different areas. And that's fantastic. We can help our clients and your clients and our partners build their organization. But the challenge is, and what we heard from you and from our partners is, there's a ton of different things that you do. Where do you start, and how can I compartmentalize this to understand, okay, what do we have? What do we have to deal with? What do we have to offer when it comes to Quest? And what can we bring Quest to help us execute on? So if you break it up into 4 categories, where you have the managed cloud solutions, right? Gary talked about our data center operations, our private cloud, our hybrid options. Oftentimes people don't realize this, but we are a reseller and a managed service provider of the major hyperscalers as well. So we are agnostic in the sense that we can provide private, we can connect to public, and we can also host, manage, and support those instances in those environments. But we can also go all the way down to the straight colo, helping organizations manage and develop their applications, help them manage their cloud and their SaaS assets. Managed cloud is kind of a bucket of what we do. Managed operations, on the other hand, is the people side of the business, right? Help desk. How can we create a help desk, a service desk for organizations? Technical on-call support, getting people where they need to be, when they need to be there for specific tasks. Things like audio-visual, getting dispatch services, people feet on the street, wherever they need to be globally, as well as managing an organization's risk, compliance risk. We see all sorts of government contract work coming down, US-based persons, ITAR, all sorts of different compliance issues, CMMC. We're helping organizations manage, maintain, and operate those environments. And then on the managed security side of the house, there's the MSSP services, where you have the SOC SIM, vulnerability management. I don't know why, but partners always ask, hey, do you do pen test services? For me, pen testing is kind of like the entry point of all entry points to get involved in managed security. But for whatever reason, I probably get, hey, do you guys do pen tests? Like probably 50 times a week. Absolutely. Any managed security provider that doesn't do pen tests, I don't know what they're doing, but that's a thing. So we help organizations manage those assets. Doesn't matter what the platforms are. So it could be, it could be Cisco, it could be Fortinet, could be Arctic Wolf, could be ReliaQuest, could be Red Canary, there's thousands RSAs kicking off soon. There's gonna be hundreds of thousands of new vendors coming out and applications. We help organizations with managed security, and where we really help a lot of partners. We had about 4 of these happen in the last month. Partner picks up the phone. They had a client who had a malware breach and an incident kickoff. We help with 24/7 incident response services. The last is managed network. Gary talked a little bit about QuestFlex, anything as a service. We can layer support onto any device that the client has, regardless of the brand. Again, don't care about the brand necessarily. What do they have? What do they need help with? We can provide the firewall as a service. We can manage the firewall they already have, or any underlying hardware component. And then we get into the fun stuff around physical infrastructure security, stuff I love around like connectivity, wireless, and satellite uplinks, and all that kind of good stuff. Physical assets, deploying the drops, helping organizations rebuild their headquarters, their sites, all that kind of fun stuff. Physical managed network. So we tried to kind of break it up in those 4 categories to help. And then what we've also put together and what's coming, we're really excited as far as helping build the business with you, is what we're calling our sales activation capabilities. So Darcy's on the call, Jill's on the call. We have what we call our Quest playbooks and our go-to-market, our active go-to-market playbooks. These are playbooks that we've built specifically with you in mind, as far as taking the specific building blocks that we have. I think we have about 10 or 12 of these now, where, hey, how do I position technical on-call support? How do I position Microsoft Copilot capabilities or application development services? Or how do I position a specific service offering? The ones that we're positioning first for our full sales activation, these are resources, this is training material, this is online content that we're going to be pulling out here. So just a real quick segue, I'm going off script, don't kill me, Darcy. We have this resource portal right here. Look at that gentleman right there, his little jawline, fantastic, just kidding. So
Script is good. We just updated the portal and the document, so all that stuff's in there. And Justin's going to share a link here in the chat just to show we're working on that sales activation hub. So he's going to put the link in the chat if you want to pull that up too, just to let you know.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So this is that area where we're putting together a full sales resource kind of a capability for you that you can use. And, really excited about that. The first two that are going to be fully encapsulated and ready to go are going to be around, okay, where do we start in cybersecurity? Quest, you do security operations, you do risk management, you do, SOC as a service, you do managed firewall. Where do we start? And where we're saying the best place to start is with our checkups, right? These are fantastic ways to start the conversation with your clients around one or all of these 7 key security areas. We see security as a layered defense in areas where clients need help. Oftentimes, I mentioned the 24/7 incident response services that we have. More often than not, when a client or a partner calls us with a challenge, it's one of these 7 areas where they've had a breach or a struggle and they need help. So what we've done, and these are wildly successful, is they start with a engineering review of the platform the clients have already enabled, right? So every single one of your clients has some type of email security flow in place. It could be garbage, it could be great, but everybody has some type of email flow in place. So if they have like a Proofpoint or a Mimecast, or they're leveraging Microsoft tool sets to secure their email, we bring an engineer, a senior engineer in there to review those policies, review that flow, and provide a summary document and an executive summary, letting them know what they're doing well, areas they can improve, and options to improve as far as either a managed service, a new purchase, change, or just changing some policies and updating what they have. And we do this across all these different platforms. Client can choose to do one of these. I think it starts at about $750 per platform, or they could do all 7, I think for about $4,500. And they can mix and match whatever is relevant to them. So patch management, how they're patching, how they're automating, how they're keeping their systems up to date. Endpoint protection, so EDR, XDR, don't care if it's CrowdStrike or Arctic Wolf or SentinelOne. Those are fantastic tools that are out there. As an example, Sophos, whatever you got, they're great tools, but what are the policies? How are they being enforced? How are they being updated? How are they being managed when they detect something? All those types of things are what we flush out during this checkup program. For all of our managed service clients, we include this in our agreements with them. So every single managed service client, we include this in the contract, and then it's up to the client if they want to remove it or not as a line item from the managed service contract. But we really believe in these checkups, and our first sales activation that we put together is focused around, around the cybersecurity checkup. And a great win the partner had was around a regional healthcare provider where we conducted the initial checkup, and it led to a significant refresh, replacement of their environment, as well as, managed firewall, help desk services, moved into lifecycle management, and then transitioned into an AV upgrade, right? So one of the things partners always say is how you guys do a ton of different things, landing the plane on managed firewall and user help desk, lifecycle management, and AV. Those are 20 different sales conversations that, good luck trying to land the plane on all of those. But we landed initially with the cybersecurity checkup, and then getting to know the client, the partner getting to know us, it kind of built into a much, much more robust engagement. So that's where we're really trying to help build with you, and we want to enable you to get there. The next one that is, for us, a fantastic starting point from a sales activation standpoint is the technical on-call support, right? So technical on-call support is the ability to schedule a resource anywhere in the world, on-site, remote, or from an emergency standpoint, to help clients with projects, upgrades, migrations, just ad hoc backup for their teams. If someone's going on vacation, hey, we lost the person who built out our audio visual environment, and we have no idea how they configured these Teams rooms or these Zoom rooms or this Ring conferencing integration or whatever it is, Ring Central integration, excuse me. We can bring them in, bring the appropriate resource in, work with them to achieve whatever project that they're trying to achieve. And so we have a sales activation package getting put together for that. We typically start at a $5,000 retainer that they draw against. And we have a nice new logo spiff, as well as kind of the commissions as far as what that means. And these grow. These grow significantly. We had a finance organization in the auto industry that started out with a small $5,000 retainer. They were mainly asking for help around some database issues, and that ended up transitioning to a full DevOps project that's building well in excess of $4 million over the last couple of years together. So they start small, and I know in the channel we kind of hear these massive numbers. Hey, it's a $50 million project, or it's a you hear the big stuff around, hey, I landed a $100,000 MRR or $200,000 MRR project, and those are fantastic, and we all love those, and we get to those. But sometimes starting small with an initial, hey, here's how we can help, it gets you in the door, and we can land and expand with you into those different service areas. So pause there real quick. Questions on the sales activation? Like Darcy said, she dropped the link in the chat. Those are coming full live in April. Any questions on the sales activation or anything anyone wants to comment on there?
I just want to comment just to let everyone know. I think Justin's getting the link to send. The sales activation hub will be a collection of the different sales activation packages. So as Adam mentioned, there'll be talks and cybersecurity checkup to start off with, but the activation packages will have a huge collection of different resources all together. So it could be like training videos, training presentations, go-to-market playbooks, associated sales briefs. If we have ebooks that are relative to that service, or case studies, all of those things will be bundled together on one landing page for you. So it'll be a variety of resources, training, and customer facing collateral that you can use in addition to the go-to-market playbook. So there's going to be a lot of content for each sales activation package.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Darcy. Really, really excited about those. Again, we heard loud and clear, looking for help to build, and any feedback you guys can give us on those assets or those resources, or what's helpful, or, hey, this part's great, but I'd like to take a look at something like this. Love that kind of feedback. That's why we're doing it, is for helping to build sales together. So any type of feedback you have is welcome, and please check it out. We'll be reaching out, so don't be surprised if you maybe get an email or a phone call from myself or Jill or someone from our marketing team. you guys join these sessions and some of our training events, we'll be following up with you to say, hey, would you like to try something like this? Would you like to maybe put some time together to build out a plan together? So we are going to continue to invest in that. So, and Darcy and her team and Jill and everyone are doing a fantastic job getting the message out there. And Justin, round of applause for Justin, by the way. I don't know if you guys are getting the Quick Quest updates, but Justin knocks those out of the park. So if you aren't signed up for those, please do. But Justin and Darcy's team does a fantastic job of summarizing all the crazy good idea fairy nonsense and kind of craziness that goes on in my head and Gary's head and the part Brian and Ryan and all of us, and kind of packages that all that good stuff together as far as what's working. And if you're not receiving the Quick Quest updates every month, please let us know, let your channel manager know. We'll get those to you. It's a great resource, kind of a simple snapshot of everything that we're promoting, everything we're communicating actively out to the, to your clients as a trusted supplier, as far as here's how we can help. Here's some service advisory notifications as far as those types of things. So, yeah. So we're seeing in the industry, just quick snapshot of what we're seeing. And this has been a continuation of what we saw over the past couple cycles, but complexity around integration work, tying multiple systems together. People are still buying kind of transactionally point solutions, and the cloud native apps, remote work, connected devices there's still a big skills gap as far as tying those systems together. Mergers and acquisitions are driving this, consolidations driving this. The vendors, the OEMs are moving ahead with their updates and basically telling the clients, you're seeing this with backup technology, we're seeing this with hyperscalers, we're seeing this with ERP, CRM, security vendors. They're getting vulnerabilities in their code base, they're upgrading and patching, and they're not supporting versions sometimes 1 or 2 back, right? So the train is leaving the station, and if you're not keeping up with those updates, you're kind of on your own, and they're getting pretty brutal about it. So that pace is quickening. Business risk, we're continuing to see systemic risk, helping organizations try to figure out, okay, how do I measure if this was a successful project or not? Regulations are getting pushed down, as well as, how do I map my technology spend with a specific business outcome, right? How do I align that conversation? Hey, I'm spending XYZ on Microsoft or this VMware renewal. How is that actually transitioning to, an ROI or a savings or a enablement for my business? So Quest is doing, and what we've been doing, we've been helping organizations, reduce their risk, right? So we go in, we help from an executive priority standpoint, we help them document, these priorities and what they're looking to do. People want predictable, optimized costs. They want to understand what they're spending their dollars on, what their software costs on, and they don't want surprises. They want to have some type of an innovation pathway to understand, okay, what's next? A lot of people are still trying to figure out AI. It's 26 minutes into the talk, and I just said AI for the first time, so pretty good. But AI is a significant strategy conversation that everyone's trying to figure out right now. On the sales side, a lot of folks are trying to figure out how to capture, value from AI, and our clients are trying to do the same thing too. So helping your clients and helping them, you can move from that transactional engagement to that architect engagement for longer term. These conversations that we're having, where you're enabling that is gonna help them do that. We start small. Again, we start with conversations. So on our Quick Quest updates that we send out every month, there are emails and associated communications attached to that, where we send out messages around specific areas that we're seeing folks having trouble with in the industry. It could be something as simple as the Broadcom situation with renewals. It could be something around managing and assessing and documenting hypervisor and SaaS subscription spend. It could be something around a specific cybersecurity issue that, hey, did you see this Sev1 issue with XYZ OEM? Or, hey, this just came out from Cisco, or this came out from Fortinet, or this just came out from Palo Alto. Do you have this in your environment? Would you like some help remediating this vulnerability? So starting small, but then helping to give them that roadmap is what we're trying to put out there all the time. And we would love it if you use those resources or resent that content to drive it. So, people say like, hey, why Quest? What's the big differentiator? We don't necessarily have the answer to the problem, but we have the building blocks to address it. So one example, partner that I've been working with for 5 years, good friends. They had a Department of War supplier that was in the rocket space, right? And we had been working with them for a long time. Worked with them on a specific cybersecurity challenge. They were looking for a way to manage, a couple hundred virtual firewalls and a couple thousand connections around all their different suppliers. They ended up going and sourcing that directly from the manufacturer, no problem. They needed some help with managing and getting a FedRAMP compliant option for their endpoints. We were involved with them, chatting, talking about it. They ended up sticking with their existing platform and upgrading it and managing it in-house. They had a developed SOC that they had. So we stayed engaged over about a 6-month period with this account, and we probably missed on 2 or 3 engagements where they just decided to kind of maintain the status quo. And you might be saying, well, hey Adam, you're on a why Quest slide, and you're telling me about 3 losses you had. Well, the competition we had was internal IT, right? The competition we had we weren't bringing the best and brightest to the table. It was, hey, not yet, not yet, not yet. Then the client asked us for help around a specific Jira instance. They had built out a help desk option internally for their service desk, and they were struggling. They bought some new upgrades, bought some new packages. They had invested in this. The hooks were in. They were kind of tied to this platform for about the next 3 to 5 years from their mindset, but they weren't getting the most out of it. So they said, hey, Quest, one of your times you were talking to us about our MDR solution, you mentioned that you do professional services and staffing. We need help around this Jira instance. Would you be willing, or could you find us a resource that could come in and help us execute against that? So we didn't land on the big firewall deal. They decided to buy that directly from that supplier. We get it. We didn't land on the endpoint protection assets, but where we did land, staying in the game, trying to see where they're looking for help, have that understanding of what that business outcome is. They had invested in shelfware. It was shelfware at the time, and they weren't getting much out of it. And they needed help getting more out of their investment. So what we did was we packaged together a support team to go in there, optimize their environment, and it ended up being about a $40,000 a month engagement to staff, maintain, and operate their existing investment, where some competitors that might be in there might be one and done on the firewall. They might be one and done on the endpoint. They might be one and done, on a specific staffing engagement, or they might be one and done on a specific SOC as a service or help desk engagement. Quest as a partner with you gives you the ability to, one, say, yes, we can help you with that, but also stay in the game long-term to help solve the business challenge the client has. I don't want to convince anybody that they should do business with me on a specific transaction. That's some people like to do that. I've never had success convincing anybody to do business with me on a specific transaction. I would love to work with folks on everything that they're doing, But if they have a play that's right for their business or that they feel is comfortable for their business, that's great. Let's stay engaged and see if that changes. And also, hey, there's 20 other areas around their application development, around their people and their labor and their staffing levels, around their other security assets, around their databases, around their cloud resources, around whatever else that they're doing. Quest has the building blocks to plug in and augment where they need help, when they need help. So when you start with that sales catalyst and you get involved in their business, we build trust together, and it grows very, very quickly. So I saw a couple of questions come in, Justin. I don't know, I didn't get a chance to read them, but they look like they might be kind of be relevant to the conversation we're having right now. Any questions come in? And you guys feel free to unmute or interrupt if you want to chat too.
Yeah, Adam, we got a question from Wesley saying some guidance on driving the conversation the other way around. Take a cold prospect and position a solution. Which are the more top of mind solutions that you should consider?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, so those questions, yeah, talks, yeah. Darcy's on point. Technical on-call support is if I was meeting a brand new customer today, I didn't know anything about them. They could be SMB, they could be middle market, they could be, small to large enterprise. Technical on-call support, and if you have a relationship with them, or if you're just brand new, if you're brand new, there's going to be a little bit of vetting going on, because salespeople say everything. You go on the web and you look at people's sites, and everybody says they do everything, which is great, and that's all good. Technical on-call support it's Uber for engineering resources in IT, and there's not an organization in the industry right now, in the marketplace, that isn't struggling to have the appropriate technical resources across all their different disciplines. They might have network figured out, they might have applications figured out, they might not have their ITSM platform figured out, they might not have their database figured out, they might be struggling with all sorts of different resources. So technical on-call support is where I lead with in every conversation as a foundational building block. You need people, you need resources, you need skill sets. Start there. We'd love to send you our go-to-market playbook on Talks. That'd be a great starting point for a cold prospect. If you're just getting involved in this, I think when we get involved in a Talks opportunity, or just a call that leads to Talks, we're closing that deal 8 out of 10 times on new prospects. It's a no-brainer when people check out who we are and how we operate, and they do some references and things like that. We have a great reputation, and Talks is kind of a no-brainer for most clients. A great question.
Yeah, and we got one more. Please address how/if mobile part of your support capabilities, phone, tablet, SIM, etc. And if yes, do you also address global solutions? Example, integrate into a global company cybersecurity solution.
Yeah. So the mobile side of the business, actually, it's kind of cool. We just one of the things that we're seeing a lot more help with is in the ITSM platforms, which mobile is a part of that. So we do support mobile devices and deployments and maintenance and IT as a service. So tablets, phones, those types of assets as a service. We do use partners to bring in to do that. So like we'll bring in like an aggregator or a distribution partner for international. We do support global organizations from a dispatch, managed services, and on-site standpoint. One caveat on that is we do not have a nexus for purchasing transactions and like billing outside of the United States. So we bill, operate, and invoice US-based companies globally. So we have like we have like a Fortune 100 client that we work with in about 37 different countries for managed firewall as a service. We deployed all those assets. We integrated it with their network. We monitor, maintain, and support about 600 firewalls for that firm across 30 different countries. And we coordinated all of the asset distribution in country, as well as the turn up in country. And then we pointed all of those security logs and events back to their internal security operations team. So they built out their SOC, they built out their resources. The partner who brought us in was just gonna sell them the firewalls and then move on. What it transitioned into, and that outcome conversation was, they didn't want to deal with deploying firewalls in 35 countries. So we managed that for them and then pointed that back to their security operations team. Could we have pointed to ours? Absolutely. We could have ingested all those logs, alerts, but they had invested $25 million in their own security operations capabilities over the last 3 years. And there was no way they were going to rip that out for us to do it for them. So we met them where they wanted help. We delivered the firewalls as a service. We pointed the logs and alerts back to their SOC team, and we're working in partnership with them going on 4 years now of a pretty significant project. So yeah, we can help with that, but the one caveat is I can't bill in non-US dollars. So yeah.
And then Adam, another question came in from Keisha. So how will these processes ensure consistent service delivery?
Good question. Was that around a specific Keisha, was that around a specific offering or? Good. Okay. Yeah, I can follow up with you on that if there's a specific question around a certain offering. ITSM, for example, these are one of the areas that we're seeing from a service management standpoint. So all of these guys down here and a couple others, a lot of folks have invested in these platforms, and they need some help with the actual process and management and workflow, right? So a lot of these organizations are deploying ITSM models to deal with certain frameworks, right? So they could be dealing with ISO kind of standardization projects. They could be dealing with a DevOps type of framework. They could be dealing with, there's a lot of different things that are driving why people are buying this stuff. We sell it, we get involved in it as a managed service, but what we're seeing happen more and more is they're looking for help managing and maintaining and kind of operating this for them. And this ties into everything that they do. So ITSM and service management is almost kind of like it touches everything about that organization from a technology standpoint: applications, endpoints, security, network, application performance, end user experience. It touches everything. So if you can get these projects, or you can ask your clients how that ITSM initiative is going, oftentimes they're struggling with one piece of that. It could be the framework, it could be the process, it could be the services. So like device as a service, depot services, managing that process for folks. It's not an easy thing to do. A lot of good potential positive outcomes that can come from getting involved from IT service. I was just chatting with a partner yesterday at the event I'm at here. Probably seen about 20 of these engagements come through the channel in the last quarter alone, with folks asking for help at some level or another around either reviewing a replacement option, an upgrade, or just monitoring and maintaining their Atlassian, Jira, ManageEngine, or Microsoft ServiceNow environment. So lot of good capabilities out there that people are needing help tuning. So, yeah. And then along that framework too, we do the governance, compliance, and the risk management services. So these are significant engagements where we come in and help organizations with, you'll hear them talk about a impact analysis, a business continuity plan, or a disaster recovery plan. A lot of folks are having to dust these off for compliance reasons, and understand either the impact to their business or to their clients in the event of a disaster. We're seeing large firms get hit with malware. We're seeing state actors. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you all saw the Stryker incident where the, Iranian folks wiped 200,000 devices, and just kind of deleted all the data from a pretty significant healthcare organization. So those things are ramping up, and additional requirements are getting pushed down. So incident response planning, security posture assessments, and then from a conversation, hey, where do we start? See if they're open to having a tabletop or a conversation. Sometimes the best thing to do is just say, hey, I got a partner that's been doing this for 25 years. They have some executives who have gone through this in the financial services and the healthcare and the provider and the payer space. Would you like to have a quick conversation with them and talk about what they're seeing in the market? We call those catalyst conversations. Those are fully available to you. Sean Davidson on our team leads that organization, does a fantastic job, has multiple risk specialists on his team that we can plug in for a conversation. So we do the full as a service, board level, managed services, audits, and all that kind of stuff. But conversation starters around this content is fantastic. Again, it's similar to ITSM. It's going to branch into everything that they do. Last one, I know we chatted about this last month, but we saw we've had about 6 of these kick off since the last session, about 4 weeks ago, where organizations are investing in the conversation as far as what are they trying to do with AI. A lot of folks will say, my team, we're not using it yet. Most of their labor is using it at one level or another. So, 15 years ago, 2010, 2012, 2015, you heard about like shadow IT, cloud services, people are using AWS and the CIO doesn't know it, all that kind of story. Same thing's happening again. Nothing new under the sun, just different version of it. People are using AI and organizations don't know. And they don't have a corporate AI strategy, but their people are using it, right? So we've been seeing a lot of folks use these to assess what their people are doing and then what kind of controls that they have in order to maintain or at least have visualization of that. So think shadow IT, if you remember the shadow IT conversation back in the cloud days, with, good old data loss prevention, bundling those concepts together, and then trying to figure out, okay, what are the AI strategies around that? So we're helping folks with their strategy, help them kind of try to debunk the sizzle, if you will. Everybody says AI and their valuation goes up because they said AI on their conference call, but what does it actually mean? And then if folks need help building things, we do have that app dev organization that runs, the iterative, agile process to help folks, build agents or at least get their data ready for it. So, you start at $6,000 for a workshop, and we'll do a full readiness engagement, typically starting around 15K. But that's for folks who are looking to, get some real consulting and engagement going on there. So if they just want to have a conversation about it, just a quick conversation. Hey, what are you guys doing? Want to set up a call? Again, great catalyst opportunity there. So. Any questions on risk or anything like that? Again, this is a open forum. Love the questions. Anything we can help drill down on there? I know we had some questions on where to start. So if there aren't any questions, another thing that we're putting out is we have our security advisory open forum. This is for our partner team, as well as any clients that you would like to invite to this. It's an open, candid conversation with our security analysts and our security team and our CIO around specifically what they're seeing in the market. So we do these every month. Our next one is on the 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Mike Dillon is going to be on, who's our CTO, been with Quest 30 years. He runs our incident response, incident containment, and managed security services. Has an amazing team. And he'll be leading that. He'll be leading that discussion, going through that. So Justin, thanks for putting that link in there. And John, yeah, great question. As far as outcomes from the AI engagement, typically what we're seeing is we provide a summary of if it's a readiness assessment. We provide a snapshot and an overview of what they currently have today, what key applications they want to potentially leverage AI with, what they already have machine learning capabilities embed in their environment right now, and then recommendations on certain areas based on the business outcome that they're looking for. So every client's a little bit different. Healthcare and financial services are very, very cautious when looking at tying AI into their customer data or their financial or health records data. So what they're primarily looking for, the outcomes that come from those verticals, are typically security-based outcomes. What policies and what permissions can we write to make sure that, Copilot's getting bundled into all the E5 licensing, right? So Copilot's getting tagged into everything in the Microsoft world. And so every vertical of the Microsoft stack has some version of Copilot bundled into it now. So what they're all trying to figure out is, before they let loose and give authorization for people to use Copilot, how are they going to manage those policies and enforce security? So I'm not saying all roads lead back to cybersecurity, but the AI conversation, that the outcomes we're seeing are right now, the majority of them are leading back to a governance outcome, right? Either helping them draft governance or enforce, access capabilities. So the workshops are typically the outcome that we come from there is typically awareness of who's using what and who's leveraging what in their environment, and then documenting potential areas that they can either enforce or manage or secure potential data leaving their environment that they don't necessarily want to. And we talk about that a little bit in the advisory forums too, as far as those outcomes. So as an example, we talk about the quick Quest updates. We also have the security advisory. So we have security advisory notices that go out, and these are fantastic conversations to start with your clients as well, around, hey, this is a real threat that is a potential risk to your environment. Have you addressed it? So like, if you have a client who has a lot of Cisco Catalyst switching and SD-WAN vulnerabilities or SD-WAN in their environment, it's an excuse to reach out to them and say, hey, I got this notice from Quest around this vulnerability. Would you like to talk? And make sure it gets addressed, or did you guys get this covered? We send this out to all the TSD engineering teams. There are thousands of vulnerabilities that get published all the time. We kind of curate those as best as we can to find the ones that are most common, most prevalent, and most, they're going to cause damage if they're not addressed. So we send those out. If you want to get those, if you're not getting those, just contact partners at questsys.com and we'll get you added to the list. Make sure you get those. Candidly, some clients just say, nah, you're just trying to sell me something. No, thanks. These are not, hey, I'm trying to sell you a new widget engagement. This is a problem. And it needs to be fixed. If you would like some help fixing it, we can help you, but we want to build a long-term relationship. So just let you know, if you have this XYZ platform in your environment, here's something that you need to address. And it gives the steps as far as how to address it and how to fix it. So, and then about it a couple times, but this is the Quick Quest updates that are coming out monthly from us. This is the format they come in. These are the, like an example, this is in February. This is what we communicated to the end customer community from a notification standpoint. So when you bring a customer into Quest, we ask first and foremost, are you okay with us contacting your customer? If you are okay with it, we're respectful about it. We send them notifications based on their interest, right? So if they're interested in security notifications, if they click, yeah, I would love to get your security advisories, we're sending them, the vulnerabilities or the emergent security risks or any of these types of things. More often than not, these are coming from people from within Quest or our automated system. If you get any of these end user communications, you have the relationship 20, 30, 50, I don't know the actual metric. I'm sure there's a real marketing metric out there, but much, much more effective if you take that email and forward your customer and say, hey, I got this risk management, this identity management and identity access management note from Quest. Looks like some interesting stuff. Would you like to talk about it? 10 times more impactful than, they signed up to receive our automated communications. We try to keep it light and quick and to the point, but much, much more successful if you forward it. So if you want to ever do that, that's where these advisory notices come out for you. So one more update. I know we're coming close on time here. We are relaunching our bootcamp series. So we have our first bootcamp kicking off next week on the 24th on Tuesday. We have a full series. So if you'd like to sign up for the series, if you'd like to check out any previous ones, you can go to our training page and kind of look at it and see if it's something you'd like to jump into. But we're starting out with, hey, AI conversations, where do we start? Where do we go? What's kind of the goals? How do we build that, confidence with our clients as far as going in there and talking about what's real, what's noise and what can really help their business. So we're kicking it off with AI, but we got a new bootcamp series. So Justin just put that link in the chat. If you're able to register for that, please do. If you can't attend the live session, please still register and we will make sure that content gets sent out to you from the recorded session. So you can jump in and listen or share it or anything like that. So again, we're really, really investing and continuing to invest in training. We want to help, build with you. Speaking of that, we got the schedule here coming up. So we're out and about doing all sorts of fun things. Our next kind of big one that we're all going to be at, the whole team, is going to be the Channel Partner Expo. So our whole team will be there. Myself, Gary, Brian, Ryan, Darcy, we'll be at the Channel Partners Expo. So if you're going to be there for that session, we'd love to set up some time with you. Please coordinate with your channel manager and we'll get some time set up. But if you're going to be at any of these other events or anything like that, love to see you there as well. And then got the boot camp series, the security advisories, that good stuff coming up. So we talked about the playbook, so I don't need to do that anymore. One thing I wanted to get to was we are continuing the pipeline spiff. So this is not for awarded opportunities. This is for an engagement with your client where they're looking for help in one of these 3 areas. If you come in with Quest shoulder to shoulder as your preferred partner to address a challenge your client's dealing with in the application space, it could be a database, could be API integration, SharePoint, cloud migration, whatever it is. If you come in with Quest as, hey, Quest, these are my guys, they can help you. $500 for the pipeline spiff, right? And that's the same for Cyber Defense Suite, and that's the same for risk management. And that risk management's DR, professional services around CMMC or compliance, and then cyber defense is anything in our Cyber Defense Suite. There's about 12 different line items in there, from endpoint to patch management to EDR to backup to SIM. So one caveat, I know this is the channel, and I know everyone kind of likes to bring in their 3 to 5 partners. That doesn't count. Pipeline spiff, $500. Bring us in as your team to help execute on an opportunity. $500 directly to you just for that engagement. And then we do have, for new logos, if you bring in a new logo, $500 directly to you on a reloadable Visa gift card. I think we had a pretty significant tally last year in 2025. I think we're going to beat that in the first quarter and a half of 2026. So love the new logo awards, love the SPIF program. And then if you're looking for a way to, offset some of your business development costs, we have what we call the capability review SPIF. Okay, it's $50 for a capability review with one of your clients. And a capability review is about a 30 to 40 minute session where we talk about the Quest building blocks, a couple of things that we approach, and a couple of ways that we approach things, and how we approach opportunities with you and your clients on the call. $250 for that 30 to 40 minute session. Oftentimes, about 9 out of 10 times it leads to a specific opportunity on the call. So we love capability reviews. It's a great way if you're looking to, fund some business development efforts. We're happy to do that. We have great mutual success on capability reviews. So, we're going to send this whole resource sheet out to you guys. A lot of content on here. As far as engagement, partners@questsys.com. We have the portal that we showed you that Justin sent some links out as well. We're continuing to have the headquarters executive briefing. So if you'd ever like to come out to Quest, love to host you at headquarters. And then for emergency support, remember ir@questsys.com, down here in the lower left corner, ir@questsys.com. And yeah, that's, really, really excited for what's coming up, and appreciate everyone joining today. I think we're going to close our buzzer beater here right at 12 o'clock Central, but wherever everyone else is. Hope you're having a great day. And again, thank you very much for joining us today.